A pleasant good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, from Pam Evans Smith Arena on the campus of Wittenberg University in Springfield, Ohio. This is Ohio High School Athletic Association State Championship Volleyball. It's Boys Championship weekend. We already had a dandy in number one as the Hudson Explorers got past their opponent, the Olentangy Berlin Bears, 3-0. They've punched their ticket. They are awaiting their opponent. It will be either the Cardinals of Thomas Worthington High School or the Crusaders from Archbishop Moeller High School. Thomas Worthington in Central Ohio, right around Columbus, Ohio, and the Archbishop Moeller Crusaders out of Cincinnati, Ohio. With former Ohio State standout Jackie Klein, I'm Chris Solwecki. Bree Stidd spinning the dials for us as our producer this afternoon. And Jackie, we saw a dandy, but these two teams, numbers 1 and 2 in the state of Ohio, Thomas Worthington, runners-up from a year ago. There is so much. You can feel the energy in this joint.
You're right, and it is. We watched these gentlemen warm up, and just the physicality and the way they're bouncing balls off the floor. We're really in for a treat for this match. I think that this is going to be hopefully a 5-setter. We love to see 5-setters in the state semifinals and final matches because that means we have teams playing against each other that are stellar.
The two teams are being introduced on the floor at the moment. We will have the national anthem in just a couple of minutes. And then we will get this baby started. I will tell you that the officials for today's match number 2, the line judges are Nicole Welsh and Ken McLean. Referee number 2, who is on the floor, is Beth Rosetta. And referee number 1, who is up on the ladder, that is David Barnes. And they are the officials. Also, a little interesting note for today's semifinal matchup. Bishop Moeller's head coach is not in the building. Casey Pieper is out on personal business today, and so he is going to be, his stand-in is going to be Bill Eckhoff, the acting head coach. He's been an assistant coach for a long time. He knows the program, so that's not a thing. But anytime things are a little out of sequence, out of system, if you want to use a volleyball term, it heightens awareness, and it can make you better, it can make you more focused, or it can completely wreck you.
I got to sit down with Bill before this, and very professional. What a nice guy. I mean, he's very supportive of his team. He says these guys are just a special group, and they're hungry to win this match. They're so glad to be back since the 2023 showing when they won. And so this is going to be a really fun match for this team.
The teams are getting ready to meet at the center of the net. But before they do that, we are going to stand and celebrate the national anthem. So we will keep it right here, but Jackie and I will stop talking to celebrate America right now. Klein, I'm Chris Selwecki. And Jackie, when you look at these two teams and you look at the boys volleyball in the state of Ohio, which has only for 4 years now been an OHSAA sanctioned event, these are two teams that are absolute blue bloods. Thomas Worthington has been in the Sweet 16 every year since COVID, so every year since 2020. That's a model of consistency. And for Moeller, that's a team that hasn't been here since 2023. But when you look back over time, all the way back to the 1980s, you see state championship after state championship after state championship for the Crusaders.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to understand, but the OHSAA sanctioned this sport, boys volleyball, in 2023, but this has been going on forever, okay? Especially in the private schools. There's been a lot of boys volleyball, even as young as like second grade. So these guys have been exposed to the game early on. Thomas Worthington has a lot of these boys that are playing club volleyball. It's interesting when I go to the big convention center tournaments for the girls teams, they've got courts set aside for the guys too. So I get to watch some of these gentlemen as they play even in the winter months and summer months.
We are just about set to go from Pam Evans Smith Arena. Thomas Worthington, Archbishop Moeller, the Crusaders have the distinction of having won their first outright Greater Catholic League in Cincinnati title in 8 years. And if you don't know anything about the GCL in Cincinnati, it is an absolute dogfight. You've got Elder, you've got St. X, you've got, of course, Moeller. You've got some teams that are unbelievable down there. Last year, there was St. X who was here. This year, it's Moeller who's here. Year in and year out, there are some incredible teams that play in the GCL. And, hey, let's not count out the OCC, the Ohio Capital Conference, which is the league from which the Cardinals of Thomas Worthington play. They were 9-1 and finished first in their Cardinal division this year. So lots of pedigree on the line in this one. Thomas Worthington, Archbishop Moeller. Moeller will serve first, and here we go. Nick Dollard with the serve, middle, back, dugout. The back set, the big swing into the block, and here come the Cardinals again. Cross court, a good dig, back set. Off the touch. Of course you're going to have a long rally right out of the chute. Elevation, good dig. Keeping it alive. Into the block, still alive. Back set, close to the net, very tight. We've got a net. We've got an antenna violation, actually. Side out off of Moeller. The point goes to the Cardinals.
I think we're in for a real fun match based on that first point. Geez, back and forth, continued play across both sidelines. You're going to see these setters spread out the offense even into the back row. It's going to be a fun one to watch.
Drew Barnes with the serve for Thomas Worthington, and the point comes down for Moeller, so we're tied at 1, and the serve comes back to the Crusaders. We mentioned several players off air as to who we wanted to look at. We ended up settling on a couple of setters, including Nick Dollard and Alex Ondo. But one guy that stands out to me for the Crusaders is their libero, number 10, Tyler Wong. There's another point for the Crusaders. They're out in front 2-1.
Both teams are going to really have to cover today. And the term coverage means that when your hitter is going up to attack, you're going to expect the other team to block them so that you're there to dig it before it hits the ground on your own side.
High toss, and that one is served right into the net by Harry Hope. So a unforced error turns the ball back over to the Thomas Worthington Cardinals. We are tied at 2 here early in set number 1. And here comes Oliver Parker to the serving line. Marker serves middle back. High one in the middle. Good effort on the dig by Harry Hope, but it goes off, by Marker. It goes off his hands and out of bounds.
So we want to keep our eyes on the setters, okay? So Nick Dollard is running a 5-1 for Moeller. And then we've got Alex Ondo running a 5-1 for the Cardinals. And what you're going to see is they're going to end up in the front row pretty much at the same time and in the back row at pretty much the same time. So it will be a setter versus setter situation at some point, but the volleyball IQ both these guys carry is just it's going to show its light once they get to the front row.
Kurt Buddy gets the point on that last attack, and now he's at the serving line for the Cardinals, and he serves it into the net. So some early match jitters, perhaps. We've seen some serving errors on both sides of the net.
So neither team gets to actually practice in this arena, and so they do have to get used to what the environment feels like. We've talked about in other matches that there's a lot of action going on up in the ceiling. There's a really low scoreboard, there's flags, and all of those are live on your side if you have an extra contact, but as soon as you touch something on the ceiling and it goes over, that's going to be a point for the other team, considered out of bounds.
That's a point for Thomas Worthington, as Aleko Jamparanis got up and killed that. Tied at 4. So now to the serving line. Newly entered into the matchup, number 7, Anav Samrat. That one goes off the shoulder of number 11, Kurt Buddy, and we have seen some big swings early from both teams.
Big swings. Both teams have to be really conscious about the net. I mean, as you're going up for a big block, it's that, and pressing over hard, trying to penetrate over to the other side, it's going to result in net violations at some point. And so we saw that early with the Cardinals, but they need to really keep their eye on that.
Elvis Arvey with the serve, and Elvis has not left the building. He is alive and well and just picked up a point for his team.
Serve and pass is the name of the game in men's volleyball, and it is in women's volleyball too. You got to serve tough to get the other team out of system, but they've got to be able to handle this ball and at least get it up to the middle of the court.
Free ball across. Quick set to the outside. Off the touch and down. Nice swing. That's number 17, Thomas Metzger with the crush.
Thomas Metzger finding that 4-4 shot. That is a really hard shot to get. You really have to do a thumb down action, you know, but that's also an easy ball to block if the Cardinals are able to press over.
Dink across, dug out. Near side, pushed across, and that's our boy number 17 once again, Thomas Metzger, and he did it in hard, but he guided that ball exactly where he wanted it to go.
So I love Metzger's attack there. However, what really set that up was Nick Dollard's set.
Yeah.
He went up and jump set, and the Cardinals had no idea if he was front row or back row, so they stayed with him, and that resulted in a one-on-one blocking, hitting situation.
Into the block and out for the Cardinals, so they get a side out. And to the serving line for Thomas Worthington, Alex Ondo, one of our players to watch for Thomas Worthington, the 6'1" senior setter. Ondo with the toss and the swing, left-handed and too strong.
So he's visibly upset that he did that. However, early in the match, early in a set, that's kind of when you want to take that risk. See what you're available to do with your body, with your mindset, and then dial back from there.
Now serving Leo Tierney. He wears number 2. Leo, diminutive as compared to some of the other guys on his team, but his contributions cannot be overlooked. Free ball across for the Cardinals. Here comes Moeller, off the touch, kept alive. Cardinals on the attack. Quick one in the middle, off the block. Still going. Bumper to the outside, got to go free across, can't do it. It goes through the net, and that'll be a point for the Crusaders, who have now doubled up Thomas Worthington. 10-5, and a timeout taken on the floor.
Moeller's doing a great job of just managing errors and making smart decisions. I think that that's crucial, especially at the beginning of your match, to make sure that you can get the rhythm that you need in order to kind of take the risks later. But the Cardinals are just trying to find their footing right now. This timeout is probably important for them to go back and remember kind of what are their Cardinal standards. You know, we need to communicate correctly. We need to make sure that we trust each other. You know, this team likes to keep it light. We saw them in warm-up. Everybody was wearing a different pro jersey or college jersey. They kind of want to have their own little flair to the game, but at the same time, now they're having to come together and get that rhythm back.
I expected to see an Ohio State Jackie Klein jersey, but I didn't see it. It might have been there. I may not have seen it. I apologize if I if I missed that.
I was a setter, so I wasn't getting all the credit. I was always the one that was making the errors.
You had a jersey. You're
it's always
ahead of me.
the setter's fault, right?
No. I was a setter, too. It's never the setter's fault. Come on now. We got to stick together. Out of the timeout, back to the serving line is number 2 for Archbishop Moeller, Leo Tierney, and he serves just wide. So a service error for the Crusaders. The ball comes back to Thomas Worthington. They trail 10-6. And to the serving line will go Aleko Jamparanis.
Number 13, Aleko Jamparanis will serve for the Cardinals.
Jamparanis waits for the whistle. He has it. Nice toss. Quick one in the middle. Nice set. And off the touch, the ball comes right back to Moeller.
So when you start a match, you start a set, as a setter, you need to establish your middle attacker. So within the first 5 to 10 points, you're probably going to see setters get the ball to their first tempo, a hitter a few times, okay? Then that keeps the block honest on the other team.
What a swing by Thomas Worthington's number 2, Jacob Pitts.
Now this is what we like to see in men's volleyball. A little bit of showing off your muscles, okay? Hitting the ball straight down, getting around the block. We're gonna see some big topspin serves throughout the day too, which are real fun.
There's an overpass giving Moeller a great opportunity down the line, out of bounds, no touch. So Moeller had the opportunity, but they could not convert. The ball comes back to Thomas Worthington. And number 14 to the serving line, that's Drew Barnes. 11-8, Moeller on top. Oh my goodness. Up and down. That was Adam Quell, I believe, and he just put that ball down inside the 10-foot line like it was nothing.
Adam Quell, if I am Nick Dollard right now, the ball's going right back to him. You keep setting your best hitter until the other team stops them, and with that fast arm swing, there is just no stopping that.
12-8, Moeller on top. Skipping forward. Good serve, good reception. Back set, high elevation, and a big swing. That's number 2, Jacob Pitts.
Jacob Pitts standing at 6'6", senior. I mean, that is a big wall in front of you if you have to see it as a block, but he's able to see those fingers on attacking, and he's taking advantage of that block with his toolbox.
Pitts rotating to the back row, so he's replaced by number 9, Oliver Marker. That one's off the touch, and so it comes right back to the Crusaders, 13-9. As we've had a back and forth, not much momentum for either team. Nobody has seized control. And here's Tyler Wong to serve for the Crusaders. Good up. Back set, slide down the side, no good. So a backslide was good, but it looked like the timing was a little bit off, Jackie.
You're right. It's actually rare to see men running a slide. That's kind of a girls thing, but you know what? It's effective. It's the hardest ball to dig or defend in the girls game, so why not bring it into the guys?
Wong with a set to the outside, really tight to the net, and yet off the hands and out of bounds. What a great job. I didn't see who the attacker was, but he did a good job of sweeping that ball off the arms of the defenders. Is Drew Ewers who got the kill. Down the line, what a swing by Kurt Buddy.
Woo! Kurt Buddy put so much velocity on that ball, but Alex Ondo just delivered him the best set ever. I mean, that was a perfect fast tempo set out to that pin. Kurt Buddy was able to hit that down the line, and he had both options really. He could have cut it cross or kept it down the line.
Great swing that time by Ewers, number 12, and he got it off the touch and out of bounds. So the point for Moeller, the serve back to the Crusaders. And Carson Narup to the serving line. High toss, Narup with the elevation and serves it too long. Point for the Cardinals and the serve back to Thomas Worthington. Anav Samrat to the serving line. Samrat played a big part in that runner-up team a year ago for Thomas Worthington. Skips forward, good serve, too long.
Side out Moeller.
It was tempting. Moeller wanted to go for it in the last second. Somebody said let it go, and they did, and that was a wise decision. A 6-point lead for the Crusaders.
I think we need to talk a little bit about last year. Thomas Worthington was here, made it to the finals against St. Ignatius, took St. Ignatius all the way to 5 and lost in 2 in the 5th set, with the score being 16-14.
Yeah.
These Cardinals are hungry. I know you and I left that match going, man, that was fun to watch, but they didn't leave feeling that way. They said, we're going to make it back here, and we're going to make it all the way to the end.
They are ranked number 1 in the state of Ohio coming into today. Of course, Moeller ranked number 2 in the state of Ohio, so for what that's worth. That's out of bounds, too strong on the left-handed swing by Alex Ondo.
Now,
Moeller running and hiding right now. Go ahead.
Last year, St. Ignatius was, which we call St. X, right? They were a big contender here at state, and Moeller took them out to get here. So this is a fun, really fun group of guys, and you can see how physical and how lively this gym is feeling right now.
20-11, a timeout on the floor. Moeller feeling it early. We'll take a timeout. More to come on the other side of this break. This is Championship Weekend on the NFHS Network. (20-11). The Crusaders from Archbishop Moeller leading Thomas Worthington's Cardinals here in set number 1. Out of the timeout, Elvis Arve back to the serving line. Elvis with a good serve, good reception. Free ball across, though. Here come the Crusaders on the attack. Good joust in the middle. Second ball, back set. Too long, just beyond the back line.
There must be a mirage in this gym, because I could have sworn that was in, but I think it really is the reflection off the floor. It's kind of hard to see, so it's really important that we continue to trust these line judges and the up referees.
That one's too long, and the line judge concurs. 21-12, Moeller with the lead, and now they also have the serve. To the serving line, number 2, Leo Tierney. Moeller on the attack, hitting .368 here through set number 1 thus far. Thomas Worthington hitting 111. There's one off the touch. What a great elevation to keep that one alive. To the set to the outside. Cardinals on the attack to the outside. Big swing, big point. Goodness gracious. That's number 8, Micah Johnson. And you mentioned off air that he's going to go to Kentucky State to play. And this is a kid who he's one of the shortest guys in the gym, and yet you can see there his elevation is unbelievable.
Well, and I was shocked to see that he also plays middle, so
yeah.
Having that vertical really does help, but he just nailed that ball from the outside pin, so it looks like he's pretty versatile and can do a lot of things on this volleyball court.
Johnson is on the roster at 5'11". That could be argued perhaps not higher, but lower. But he's got great elevation. Unfortunately, right now, he's finding him and his team are on the short end of a 22-13 score, as number 11, Nick Dullard, goes to the serving line for the Crusaders. High toss, approach, good swing, dug out. To the outside. Right back to him, cross court, that's out, no touch. The point goes to the Cardinals.
The Cardinals need to get some momentum here. Maybe they're not going to win this set, right? But they may have to get that momentum and start strong right away in second set, and they can do that here, not with a missed serve, unfortunately.
Drew Barnes with the serve out of bounds, 23-14. Moeller just needs 2 to take set number 1 in this second semifinal matchup for Division I. To the serving line is Harry Hope. Hope smacks the ball several times, the toss and the skip. And that's a receiving error, as trying to get it was Jan Paranis, and he was unable to dig it. So now it is set point for the Moeller Crusaders. Hope serves. Good reception in the back. Outside. Good dig by Wong. Back set into the block. Kept alive. Second ball. Off the block and down, and Moeller takes set number 1, 25-14. Much more action to come in this second semifinal after this timeout. Stay right there. Set number 2 on the other side of this break. This is the NFHS Network.
Yes!
Yes!
It's a big money bet right there.
I want big money. Can I bet too?
Well, sweetie, betting is gambling, and there are big risks when money's involved.
Risks?
Yes, sweetie. That's why it's only for adults. Let's watch.
Youth who gamble are 4 times more likely to experience a gambling disorder as an adult. Be aware. Check for risks. Guide their choices. Help prevent youth gambling. Visit ChangeTheGameOhio.org.
It doesn't matter if you're playing hard or working hard. Your workout only works out if you recover right.
Recover.
Chocolate milk helps you recover for what comes next. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles.
Ready? Recover. Repeat. Chocolate Milk, the official beverage of high school sports, is brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast.
Set number 1 goes to the Moeller Crusaders. And as we get ready for set number 2, we look back at the year that was, Jackie, and when you talk about common opponents and just battles that were fought, Moeller played St. X 3 times, lost 2 out of 3, but the time that they won was in the playoffs. They played Elder 4 times, and they won 3 out of those 4. So they've played some significant battles against some of the best teams in their region. And with a mixed bag of results during the regular season, but they figured it out during the postseason, and that's what gets you to a moment like this.
Right, and you definitely want to put your team in hard situations against hard teams so that they know what it feels like, to fight through that adversity, and they don't want to learn that at state. They want to learn that on the way, for sure.
So common opponents, Moeller is 6-3 against Elder and St. X and Mount Vernon, while Thomas Worthington is 2-1 against those three teams. They lost to Elder, they beat St. X, and they beat Mount Vernon. So a couple of big wins, including that win over St. X. That's very impressive. So set number 2 about to get underway. To the serving line for the Cardinals is number 15. That's Matt Locker. What a serve. And Wong had no answer for it. Big point for the Cardinals right out of the chute.
And that's that momentum shift that we were talking about at the end of set 1. Despite the fact that the Cardinals didn't win set 1, that momentum has shifted their way with that ace right there on point 1.
Well, I've heard you say it over and over. This is the time in a set where you go for broke, so to speak. Maybe you choose to swing a little harder, see what happens. You don't do it when it's 25-20 or 24-22. You do it now.
Yeah, you build your trust early in your own self and your teammates, and then from there figure out how to dial it in.
High set to the outside, cross court. From the near, into the block and straight back. So a good swing by Thomas Metzger. Unfortunately, it went right into the block and came back and deflected off of Metzger, and he couldn't do anything about it.
Jacob hits 6'6" right in front of you. When he presses back to zone 6, it's a wall in front of any hitter in front of him.
Wong with a good reception on that serve. High and out. 3-0, Thomas Worthington early on.
Moeller begging for an in call. That ball was coming real hard and fast at the official in the line judge situation. He may have looked away, but
They see so many of those balls come down that line, though. They could almost, you don't want to say that they call it without seeing it, but they can certainly anticipate certain things that are going to happen with the ball that physics require. That was high up off the scoreboard. Side out to Moeller, but Thomas Worthington gets out to an early 4-1 lead. That's exactly what these Cardinals needed here in set number 2.
Now, they are talking to the up official here because there is a question here, and I would question the same thing.
Yeah.
It went up from the Cardinals side, hit the scoreboard, and came back to the Cardinals side. But what happened is it actually touched the scoreboard over on Moeller's side, so that is considered out of bounds, even though it deflected back.
On the attack, the Crusaders off the touch. Here come the Cardinals. Quick one in the middle. Off the block. Good swing by Micah Johnson, but that middle block was there to stop it in its tracks. 4-2, Moeller trails, and they still have the serve. Nick Dollard, high toss, too strong. 5-2, Thomas Worthington.
So what we noticed in set 1 is Moeller did a really good job of getting the Cardinals out of system. So most passes were either a 1, maybe a 2 pass. Well, now it looks like Thomas Worthington's able to do that to Moeller. There's a lot more out of system type setting that is coming versus being in system.
That swing was down the line, but didn't catch the line. So Thomas Worthington with a nice little lead right now. Good serve straight down the line, set to the outside off the touch. And here come the Cardinals. Close. What a swing. That was a really good set, and oh my goodness, did Kurt Buddy answer with a swing.
I love watching Kurt Buddy play. He's contacting that ball really above the height of the block, so he really has full reign of whatever's in front of him.
Outside, into the block and down. The Cardinals doing everything right now. Jacob Pitts, one of the arms to block that one back.
When your blocking is on, it takes so much pressure off your team. So it's really fun when they're able to keep that alive. because of their blocking situation, and it keeps everything in system.
Moeller breaks the rhythm of the Cardinals for the moment, and they get the serve back. 8-3, Thomas Worthington has the lead. And Harry Hope will go to the serving line for the Crusaders. Hope has one service ace today. Back set. What elevation, but couldn't get on top of the ball. And as a result, hit it well beyond the back line. That was Jacob Pitts on the swing. So Hope once again. Good reception. Quick one in the middle. Into the block, but it goes down on Moeller's side. So Danny Seacrest comes up with a big swing in the middle.
And I love that decision because they haven't really established their middles yet. And so getting the ball to the middle now forces Moeller to pay attention to him instead of going just pin to pin.
Set to the outside, into the block, still alive. Little indecision, and that'll cost them. A point goes to the Cardinals. The set was kind of to nobody, and nobody went after it.
So this is where communication, eye contact, nonverbal communication becomes really important for Moeller. They have to continue to remember how much they've been through and what they're going and how connected they are, and just get that rhythm back.
Good dig in the back. That's Hope. Sent across. Second ball up and out. Good effort by number 12, Alex Ando, but he couldn't keep it between the lines. Now
Interesting
Tyler Wong.
play by him. He's left-handed.
Yeah.
So he went off 1 foot. I mean, if he would have connected with that, that would have been a really cool play.
Tyler Wong, with the serve. And that one off the arm of Harry Hope and out of bounds. Good swing. And that's Kurt Buddy again.
If I'm the Crusaders, I would be worried about Buddy. Okay, now he's now in the back row, but that doesn't take him out of the offense.
Right.
We really haven't seen a lot of back row attacks, but that should be a big part of both of these teams' games.
Serving error on Buddy there as he serves it into the net. So the ball comes back to the Crusaders. It's number 8, Carson Narup. Narup smacks the ball, gets the official whistle, the high toss, the big swing. Good reception in the back row. Out to the outside. Down the line, it's good. What a great swing. Aleko Yamparanis.
The interesting part about that is he ran that inside. So that's a quicker tempo ball. They call it a second tempo ball coming into the 3 zone at like the height of the antenna. So it's about 2 feet above the height of the net. So that's pretty hard to block if you're worrying about other things going on the other side.
Anav Samrat had the serve, but it goes the attack goes down in front of Kurt Buddy. So the point goes to Moeller. They get the serve back, and to the serving line is Elvis Arve. You don't know how much. I mean, announcers love names like Elvis. We've just got all kinds of things we can say. I'm showing great restraint right now, not geeking out over the name Elvis. Good serve. Oh, and it's going to be an ace. Good serve off the side of Yamparanis' arms, and the point goes to the Crusaders. They still trail 12-8. Elvis, good serve. Outside, right into the block and down. So Yamparanis with a good swing, but right into the wall that is Moeller gold and blue.
Right now, Alexando is front row, and so there's only 2 attackers in the front row for the Cardinals, and so it's kind of easy to read where the ball's going to go, especially if Micah's not getting set very often due to his height.
Good save there, good toss across. Tried to pancake it. What a great effort by Tyler Wong. He did get his hand underneath the volleyball, but it went sideways, and nobody could help me with the second ball. I love where we get to sit for these things. These kids are right here. It's amazing.
I know that one play came right in our lap.
Back set, big swing into the block. Here comes Moeller again, near side. Again blocked, Wong. Outside one more time, into the block. Jan Paranis with a set to the backside now. Good reception. Back row attack, gentle. And they can't get it up in the air. Good effort by number 12 that time, Alex Ondo, but he couldn't get his hand underneath it entirely. He punched it forward. The Cardinals lead 13-10, but now it's Crusaders to serve. And Leo Tierney to the serving line. Leo. Back set. Into the block. And a whistle as there is a Cardinal in the net.
No, the four contacts, actually. He hit it pretty low, so it hit the tape. And sometimes it looks like it's hitting the blocker, but it wasn't high enough to actually get the blocker's hands.
13-11. Worthington has the lead. But the Crusaders hanging around. Set to the outside. Micah Johnson down the line.
That's the second time he's gotten a kill out on that outside pin. That's definitely something to remember for that future rotation, because I expect him to get that again. The biggest thing I'm seeing is despite that swing right there, he's the only one I've seen on either team hit it deep and wide, okay? Most of the balls are being hit into the middle of the court or tipped into the middle of the court. So some adjustments may need to be made defensively.
There's Johnson along with Jacob Pitts getting the block. What a wall put up there. 15-11, Worthington with the lead. And to the serving line goes Matt Locker. Out of bounds, tried to place it, couldn't do it. Locker followed it all the way to the white line and saw it go out of bounds. Timeout taken by the Crusaders. 16-11 in set number 2. We'll step aside. More action to come in this second semifinal matchup right after this. This is Championship Volleyball on the NFHS Network. Thomas Worthington 16, Moeller 11 in set number 2. Best of 5, best of 3, best of 5, sorry, best of 5. 3 out of 5 is what I meant to say. She's Jackie Klein. I'm Chris Solwecki. Glad to have you with us. Bree Stidd spinning the dials for us. Big point there for Moeller. They needed that. As they get the ball back. Stepping to the serving line for the Crusaders, number 11, Nick Dollard. High toss. Back set. Off the touch. Really nice swing by Jacob Pitts.
Jacob Pitts is really showing up to the fight today. He's really contributing from attacking and defensively from his block. Doing a great job also, like culturally. He's cheering on his teammates and bringing a lot of energy.
And the ball goes out. 17-13 is our score. Pitts is a 6'6" senior oppo hitter. And he is staring down server Harry Hope. Into the block and down on Moeller's side, so a nice point Off the right arm swing of Danny Sechrist, number 4.
Second time they've run that play in that exact rotation. And I even think Moeller was ready for it. However, their arms were not over the net quick enough. When you're running a fast tempo ball like that, you got to really reach over quick if you're going to stop the ball.
Got a quick timeout. Something was on the floor. The line judge earns his good housekeeping seal of approval for this match. Off the touch. Cardinals trying to make something of it here. Roll shot. Dug out in the back by Dullard. Trying to keep it alive. Pinball action, but they do. Here come the Cardinals on the attack. Quick one. Into the block and out of bounds. Another point for number 4, Danny Sechrist. And now Thomas Worthington leads by 6. Trailing in the match, 1-0. They would love to tie this one up. Big swing, goodness gracious, Dullard. Sorry, Ewers with the big swing, number 12.
And Dullard actually had a little bit of that action because he held Sechrist, okay? He jumped and Sechrist stayed with him even though he's back row.
Outside, down the line, big answer. Kurt Buddy.
Alex Ondo, that is how you run an offense. You run the 31 multiple times and then you run that faster set to the outside that the other team just cannot keep up.
Into the block, they keep it alive. Free ball across. Here come the Crusaders on the attack. Back set, cross court, good swing.
So now it comes down to runs. They have to get some runs from the service line. They've got to get the Cardinals out of system in order to come back in this set.
So Carson Narup to the serving line. His team trails by 5 in this set. Receive error. Kurt Buddy didn't dig it. It's an ace for the Crusaders, and the deficit is now just 4. Narup again. High toss, good swing. Set to the outside. Wong with a good reception. Roll shot across. Bumper to the backside. Buddy, gentle into the fire camp pit. Trying to keep it alive and nobody can get to it. Great effort. But there were bodies strewed all over the floor. Nobody had a direct path to the ball without stepping on a teammate.
But that just tells you what practices look like for these teams. So you know the practice gym is intense. There's guys going after every ball and pursuing everything. And so you really do play how you practice. And so you know that these coaches are holding these guys to a high standard.
Anav Samrat with the serve. Outside. Off the touch, it's down. Big point for number 1, Elvis Harvey.
Now again, serving is so crucial right here. This is kind of the red zone, I like to call it. They've got to get this ball in. This is not the time you go back and you just try to crack one. You want to keep this one inbounds, aim for a seam.
Harvey to the serving line, and he serves in error. Elvis, you ain't nothing but a hound dog after that, big boy. All right, I'm done. That was forced. I'm done. Timeout called on the floor. 22-17. Thomas Worthington with the lead in set number 2, trailing in the match 1-0. Can they finish this one out? We'll find out after this timeout. Stay right there. Championship volleyball continues next. So through a set plus, the side-out percentages, Moeller 66.7, Thomas Worthington 57.1. Service errors, Moeller 5, Thomas Worthington 7. Aces, Moeller 5, Thomas Worthington 2. Digs are close to equal, blocks are completely equal. That goes out of bounds, no touch. The point goes to Moeller, as does the side out. So Elvis hands the ball off to his teammate Carson Narup, who's going to the serving line. Sorry, that's not Narup, that's Leo Tierney. And Tierney is going to try to get this turned around for the Crusaders before they run out of time in this second set. Good elevation, set to the outside. Johnson down the line, good reception. Pushed off the block, unable to be dug. Nicely done by number 17, Thomas Metzger.
This is the rotation where Moeller can come back. Okay, Nick Dollard is front row. They've got Adam Quell in the middle, which we've seen him and his hammer arm, right? And so if they can play defense, they're going to have a lot of options in the offense.
And that was a campfire move, but a good dig. Big swing off the touch. You could almost see Leo Tierney trying to pull his hands back before the ball touched him, and he just didn't get it done. 23-19. Worthington with the lead.
Pitts hitting that wide, okay? We talked earlier about everybody hitting it really like in the middle of the court. That wide shot is the one that's going to score more often.
Matt Locker, high toss, big swing. Goodness gracious, what a serve. But then they find the perfect spot between Locker and number 14, Drew Barnes. Moeller trails by 3. To the serving line, Nick Dollard, number 11. Middle back, Barnes comes up with it. Back set, into the block, trying to keep it alive, can't do it. 23-21. The last time the Crusaders won the state tournament was 2023. They were down in that tournament 2 games to none, or 2 sets to none, and came all the way back, winning 3 in a row to seal their championship. Resiliency is part of their game. Wong, that's off the scoreboard. So the point will go to Thomas Worthington, and now they have match point in set number 2. A set point in set number 2. Drew Barnes trying to finish the job. Wong with the reception. Oh my goodness, what a swing down just to the right of Aleko Yamparanis.
This is a 2-point game. You know, coaches in practice do a lot of drills where you have to earn 2 points in a row. Why? Because you get to situations like this. And so these guys have been through a lot. They know how to dial in. They just need 2 points. 2 good things.
Overpass, bumped by Wong. Tossed across, Barnes with a dig. Quick to the outside, into the block and down. Point Crusaders, and now it's 24-23.
Thomas Worthington right now has 2 weapons in the front row, though. They've got Buddy and they've got Pitts, okay? So they've got a lot to work with over there. And Moeller doesn't know which way it's going, so they have to stay neutral when it comes to blocking.
So what's the conversation like right now? Worthington obviously wants to finish this thing out. To do that, they have to break a serve, and they have, you shouldn't say limited resources, but they're a little limited on what they can do in the front row. So when you're Moeller and you're sitting there in the huddle right now, what's the conversation?
If I'm in the Cardinals huddle, I'm saying get it to Buddy, okay? Because I think he's reliable and he's got a pretty fast arm swing and a high contact point, okay? Now, if I am Moeller, I'm saying we've got to push them on the serve here. So it's a little bit of a scary situation. You don't want to be lobbing in a ball that's super easy to pass. You do want to get it in, but can you get them out of system? Maybe you're trying to hit a top shoulder versus laying it right into their laps.
The clock for the timeout has ended. Both teams back on the floor. Harry Hope to the serving line for the Moeller Crusaders. He skips forward, serves middle back. Good reception. Outside, big swing, it's a point. What a great swing by Kurt Buddy. You said it. If you're going to do it, let's get it to Buddy. And he finishes the job. Thomas Worthington wins set number 2, 25-23. We're all tied up at one set apiece, which means number 3 is a big one, and it's on the other side of this timeout. Stay right there. Championship volleyball continues next on the NFHS Network.
Ready?
It doesn't matter if you're playing hard or working hard. Your workout only works out if you recover right.
Recover.
Chocolate milk helps you recover for what comes next. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles.
Ready? Recover. Repeat. Chocolate milk, the official beverage of high school sports, is brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast.
Yes!
Yes!
It's a big money bet right there.
I want big money. Can I bet too?
Well, sweetie, betting is gambling, and there are big risks when money's involved.
Risks?
Yes, sweetie. That's why it's only for adults. Let's watch.
Youth who gamble are 4 times more likely to experience a gambling disorder as an adult. Be aware. Check for risks. Guide their choices. Help prevent youth gambling. Visit ChangeTheGameOhio.org.
Good. Set number 1 went to the Moeller Crusaders, 25-14, but set number 2 goes to Thomas Worthington, 25-23. Moeller showed a lot of resiliency in that second set, climbing back in, but ran out of time. And so we're tied at one set apiece as we get ready for set number 3. And when you talk about resiliency, it's really not any surprise, Jackie, that you would find resiliency on the court from this Moeller team, because they've been practicing it off the court all season long.
They have. So they've been dealing with a little adversity. So in the past 18 months, 2 guys on the team have lost their dads to cancer. Shirts all over this arena are saying, "Do it for Jack." Jack is Adam Quell's brother, and Adam lost him, and they've set up a foundation. And then not only that, but one of their fellow teammates on the JV team passed away this year, unfortunately, in an accident. So they have been really tight-knit. Why? Because they needed each other, and they need each other now. And what a great outlet, volleyball. Volleyball, what a great outlet to, take the hardships of life and turn it into something that means something and is also a lot of fun.
Well, in unity, we see it all the time, but unity shows itself in many unique ways. We saw Thomas Worthington being united with myriad different jerseys, and we see the Crusaders being united as well as their fans with Do It for Jack shirts. And so sometimes you rally around a person, sometimes you rally around an idea, sometimes you just rally around the fact that we're together and we're doing something we love and we're 18, 17, 16 years old. We should be having the time of our lives.
And I wish more kids just loved the sport the way you and I maybe loved it when we played. A lot of it's kind of gone a little bit more to the recruiting side and a little bit more professional, but it is a game and it is something that you should love.
So here in set number 3, Moeller takes the early 2-1 lead. That last swing was taken by number 2, Jacob Pitts. He left it wide. So 2-1, Moeller has the advantage. Harry Hope at the serving line. Skips forward, serves middle back, tight at the net, but they do a good job with it. And that swing, man, oh man, it almost looked like it matrixed around the antenna and straight down.
If I'm Ondo, I'm going to Buddy, and then I'm going to Pitts, and then I'm going back to Buddy again, and just keeping the Moeller block, having to do lots of work, get exhausted both mentally and physically, and that's how you win points.
Here's Oliver Marker at the serving line for Thomas Worthington. Good reception by Wong, set to the backside, swing too strong, and the point comes down to the Cardinals. They have the lead.
Third set is the momentum set. Typically, whoever wins third set is going to win the whole thing. So this one is crucial for both these teams.
Quick one in the middle. Good dig by Drew Barnes. Out to the outside. Trying to keep it alive. Buddy sends it across and down. Buddy just across the tape, and it was already on the downward trajectory. No way it was going to be coming back over.
And that's something you see a lot in men's volleyball. You see it in college and definitely in the pros and internationally. Taking advantage of guys who have a really long hang time, trying to catch them on the way down from their jump.
Elvis Arve and Tyler Wong watched that one go between them, and now Thomas Worthington has a 3-point cushion here in set number 3. Can they keep it alive? Good effort. And it's go. Yeah, they keep it alive. Here we go. Oh, trying to throw it across, but unable to do so. Great thought by Thomas Worthington's Alex Ondo, but he couldn't get it to clear the tape.
That effort should be on SportsCenter. That's kind of the effort that you need to see. If you're a young athlete watching that, you never give up on a play because you never know who's going to be there and got your back.
Tyler Wong with the serve, set to the outside. That's a good swing by Aleko Yamparanis. They call 4 swings on Moeller because the ball came back across, but Yamparanis got the job done. Off the touch. Yeah, trying to keep that one alive, and nobody was buying that that wasn't a catch and throw off the right arm of Oliver Marker.
Yeah, so that's a lift is what they call it, and then there's also a double contact that you can't touch the ball twice by the same person, but they've become a little bit more lenient on that. You know, it used to be that setters were called on that all the time, but now it's if there's some spin on the ball, they're going to let it go.
How different would your career have been if you were playing now? I mean, because you're right, when we were growing up, I'm older than you, but when we were growing up, we had to, I mean, that ball couldn't spin, it couldn't move. It had to look like it was a knuckleball, and then now there's a lot more flexibility in that.
Oh yeah, and I think the thing you have to think is you need to develop your tallest, most athletic player to be your setter, really, because there's really no ball handling criteria anymore. So you could teach somebody to just dump the ball and be super offensive from the front row. And I mean, that's the way I would think about it. It would sure have taken a lot of anxiety off of me when I was a player. But I think every setter wants to make the ball look pretty coming out of their hands. So I don't think that'll go away.
I'll say this, I was neither the tallest nor the most athletic player on my team when I was playing. And so we'll just leave it there. Thomas Worthington with the lead, 8-5. And Elvis Arve to the serving line. High toss. I think it also allows different coaches to make different choices in what kind of system they run. Like, we ran a lot of 6-2 when I was coming up through because of the expectation of what the setter could do and not do. And now that there's a lot more flexibility and the game's a little flashier, you may want that athletic setter to do more than just set the volleyball.
What I'm finding is it's allowing other players to develop. We're not calling the ball in the middle of the play. We're letting hitters hit it out or not hit it out, but play it out. And so they're learning to become better volleyball players. And so that's where it's really helping.
Nice swing from the far side by number 13, Aleko Yamparanis. He now has 10 attacks, 3 errors, 4 kills. He's also got 5 digs and a block, so he's having quite the all-around game. Good dig in the back row. Set to the outside, Yamparanis again. This time it's off the tape. And the point will go to the Moeller Crusaders.
In the last set, Moeller was down by 4 until the very end. So it's important that they catch back up right now. They need to do everything in their power to keep the ball inbounds and just buckle up on defense here. And when they get their shot, go ahead and throw it to the floor. But they need to run right here from the service line.
Leo Tierney to do the honors. He serves. Ando with a back set. Cross court. Not great receive. Elvis with an incredible pass to the front, which allowed for that attack to happen, and the point comes down for the Moeller Crusaders, who now trail by only 1, 9-8 here in set number 3. Each team took one of the first 2 sets. Tierney. Good serve. Ando set to the outside. Johnson cross court out of bounds. It's like he wasn't sure if he wanted to crush it or take a little something off of it, and then in between, he set it too far.
And it looks like that's a shot he works on in practice. Maybe that's a weaker shot for him, so he wasn't as confident in that. But remember last time in this rotation, they did set him on the outside, and he crushed it.
Tied at 9. It goes to him again, and this time he does crush it off the block and straight down the net. So Micah Johnson gets the point. Thomas Worthington maintains the lead, or regains the lead, if you will. And now to the serving line is number 15, Matt Locker. Locker has a couple of service aces already, and when you watch his serve, it's no wonder. High toss, and watch this. Bang! Long with reception. Dinked in the middle. Great effort, but unable to come up with it was number 14, Drew Barnes, and we are tied at 10.
So what would you think would be a harder ball to receive? A hard topspin serve or a jump float serve?
Oh, a jump float serve, definitely for me. I mean, I practiced float serves like crazy because of the knuckling factor. If it's coming hard and straight, it's like hitting a fastball in baseball.
Right. So if there's any spin on the ball, it's actually easier until the ball actually reaches 54 miles per hour or more. Okay? So anytime there's spin on the ball, you really want to try to get it moving as quick as possible just to make sure that the other team's not viewing it as a easy pass.
Yeah. That's over the net. Oh, my goodness! Goodness gracious. Thomas Metzger with the kill, the overpass, and a payment.
Those are the ones you're just drooling for. Just give me an overpass so I can show you what I'm made of.
Good serve by Dollard. Back set. Wong comes up with it. Set to the outside. Cross court. Outside. Keeping it alive. Cross court and in. Good job taking a little something off of it. And Kurt Buddy, he's kind of the guy, he's the stopper. When the other team starts to get some points, Buddy comes along and he stops the momentum, stops the rally, gets the ball back for his team. 12-11. Middle. Good swing.
I love watching Adam Quell in the middle. I think that he's got one of the fastest arms. He does a great job of opening up and being available. That was more of a 31 type set, but you know, when he runs that one ball, it's coming to him quick and then to the floor quick.
Thomas Metzger with the toss. Good reception to the outside. Buddy, too strong. Couldn't get on top of it. Go ahead.
A rare error for him. The big thing on that one is Buddy was just too far ahead of the ball that got set to him. I think he left a little bit too early. So you lose your vision in front of you when you don't have that spacing between you and the ball.
14-11, Moeller has the advantage. Metzger. Can they keep it alive? They cannot. Not a tremendous reception over there by Dawson Yoho, and then the ball went left and nobody was able to get to it. And so a timeout taken by the Cardinals, who now find themselves on the short end of a 15-11 score in this very important third set. Each team has one in the bag. Winning this second set will be huge, or this third set will be huge for one team's momentum or the other. So be the coach there in the Cardinals huddle right now. Let's talk about it. What happens? How do we climb back into this thing? How do we, as you've put it a couple times today in the two sets, how do we handle error management?
Sure. So as a coach, it's kind of like you're a broken record. You really always go back to first ball contact.
Yeah.
So you're constantly saying, we just need a pass. We just need a pass. And some coaches get even more specific. We don't need a perfect pass. We just need a 2 pass if they're going on a 3-point stat for passing. And what that means is if it's a perfect pass, statistically that passer would get 3 points because the setter could set 3 different hitters. If he passes it to the middle of the court, it's a 2. If it's deeper in the court, it's a 1. Why? Because they can only set 1 hitter. But a lot of coaches are now even going off of a 4-point scale just to try to differentiate those different areas. I like to have my athletes live in a 2 pass. Just get it in the middle of the court.
Metzger with the serve out of the break. Back set. What a swing, and then a good reception as well. Outside, Buddy with a good swing, but a good reception. Here they come. And that is frustration causing as Jan Paranis immediately got eye contact with Drew Barnes trying to figure out what happened there.
I think Moeller's conversation in their last time out was about blocking and defense.
Yeah.
We don't have to stuff block them is probably the conversation, but we just need to slow it down. So
that one goes too long off the right arm of Thomas Metzger, so the point goes to Thomas Worthington. The lead for Moeller is 4, 16-12. And now serving for Thomas Worthington, Oliver Marker. Marker with toss. He takes a gentle approach this time. Keeping it alive. Buddy sends it across. It's deflected. Up and down. Quell again. And that kid's a monster in the middle.
And the time before that he got set, he chose to tip, and then Nick Dollard's confident enough in him to feed him again and then go straight down. I think that was on the 8-foot line.
Long dives to keep it alive. Moeller, there's one off the touch. Here comes Thomas Worthington on the attack. Push to the outside. Off the block and down. And who else but Kurt Buddy?
Kurt Buddy, his attack, though, has started to get lower and lower as far as location to the net. When we started this match, he was touching that ball almost at the height of the antenna, and now he's kind of delivering that ball across the net a little bit closer to the tape. Well, that's easier to block. So he needs to give himself, again, a little bit more spacing so he can see what's going on and aim a little bit higher.
Well, he's coming out to be replaced by Dawson Yoho. It may be that his 28 attacks, 12 kills versus 3 errors, which is a great attack percentage, but it may be that the coach is noticing that he needs a little bit of a breather. There's a swing cross court that goes out of bounds, and the point goes to the Crusaders. Because energy management, especially in the state semifinals, none of these kids want to come out. None of them want to be doing anything other than everything they can for their team. Sometimes, though, it means taking a breather.
You're right, and your adrenaline is so high, correct? So, sometimes you just need to come out, take a quick, water break, you get a high five from a friend, Get a little bit of some eye contact from your coach. Coaches nowadays are looking at you going, you got this, let's go.
Yeah.
You know, there's not a lot of hard coaching going on in the gym, so it is really a breather.
Narup with the serve. That one's deflected, and it's down. Good point for the Cardinals. They needed that. The deficit cut to 4. More importantly for them as they get the serve back. And back on the floor is number 11, Kurt Buddy. So he got a break during the serve, but now he's back in middle back. And to the serving line is number 7, Anav Samrat. Off the touch, Samrat comes up with it. Pass to the outside, dinked across. Good reception by Buddy. Samrat. Dunked across, and we're going to have a net violation called, or actually a lift violation called, I guess, against Moeller.
So if you're attacking and you touch the ball on the bottom of the ball, but then finish your arm on top of the ball, they'll call it a throw. So that's what happened.
18-15, Samrat again. Wong unable to handle it. It goes backwards. Elvis cross court. Back set. Into the block and out of bounds. And fired up is number 12, Alex Ando, who got that kill and cut the deficit to 2.
And we just saw a switcheroo, okay? So Ando's not setting anymore. He's now a hitter in the front row, okay? So we're going to see what's going to happen in this next play. Is he going to be a hitter or a setter?
Good dig by Buddy in the back. Outside. That's a touch. And the point goes to the Cardinals. 18-17.
So
I wasn't sure on the touch if it was off the antenna or off the player. I couldn't tell that.
It's so far for us, we can't see it. But I would call a timeout here real quick if I was Moeller, because this tempo of this game is really going in the favor of the Cardinals. But luckily, they were able to get that point right there.
Elvis with a big swing, and he comes up with a point. Adds to his team's lead. It's now 19-17, and he will go to the serving line, looking to stretch the lead even further. Elvis Arve, 5 kills, 3 errors, 20 attacks, 3 service aces. Not on that one. Micah Johnson goes up high. The ball's touched to the outside. Cross court. Good dig. Bump by Buddy. Ando throws it across for the point. And Ando is fired up looking to his fans.
He's left-handed, so that gives a setter a bigger advantage. So when you are looking like you're setting, or you are doing something a little bit different because you're throwing with your left arm and everybody else on the court is throwing with your right, it's so much harder to defend.
Good block at the net. To the outside, into the block and down. That's out of bounds. Buddy was hoping to get a touch by Moeller, but no call is coming. Moeller leads it 20-18, and more importantly, at this stage of set number 3, they have the serve back, and Leo Tierney to the serving line. Tierney has a clean stat line, zeros all the way across. But that means there have been no service errors to go along with no service aces. He's been consistent. To the outside, Johnson into the block and out of bounds.
Very close, though.
Yeah.
That's very, very close. And you're talking about zeros across the line. Athletes need to be either positive players or negative players, right? Is usually where we live.
Oh, yeah.
But there's also neutral players. People who are really maybe not getting the kills or contributing, getting positive points, but they're not creating errors, losing points for the team. So, and that's where he falls.
Too long. Thomas Worthington has tied this match up at 20 apiece. Aleko Yamparanis at the serving line for the Cardinals. Too long.
Now, if you were to pull out a volleyball textbook, there will be drills in there that are 5-point games, and this is why, okay? So it's a small game to 5 points. You got to get ahead early. Error management, we've been talking all day about that, making sure that you're not making errors.
Set to the outside. Buddy goes up and slams it home. Kurt Buddy, the answer man for Thomas Worthington so often in this match. Now 13 kills on 30 attacks with only 3 errors. High set, big swing, but look who's there. It's number 2, Jacob Pitts.
That out-of-system situation just resulted in all of the blockers coming over to the outside. It's you have to live in a recycle world. Like, I know I'm going to hit this in the block. I sure hope someone covers it for me.
22-21, Thomas Worthington with the lead. Now, I know that so much of this game is psychological and what coaches talk about, but if you're thinking about this right now and do you even mention the 4th set, or you just worry about getting through, hey, we need this one to go up 2-1, or you just let that, at this point, it's going to play itself out. You just coach the moment.
I think you coach the point. So right now, Thomas Worthington wants to create a point spread, okay? So they need to get further away. But Moeller's #1 goal is to tie this back up, and it starts with a pass. So they've got to figure out how to get the ball in the middle of the court, and really the ball needs to go to Adam Quell. Adam Quell has the fastest arm in the West, so he's got to be the one that's getting that ball, and the only way they can do that is with a good pass right here.
Thomas Worthington 22, Moeller 21. At the serving line for the Cardinals is number 14, Drew Barnes, who tosses and swings. Received well by Wong. Back row attack by Elvis into the block. Going to play it off the scoreboard. They're good. Into the block. Here we go again. Set to the outside. Buddy. Keeping it alive. Barnes close to the net. Great back and forth. Buddy again. Good reception by Elvis. Back set. Cross court. That's going to be a point for the Crusaders, and we're tied again at 22.
Moeller did a great job of just watching the game and playing defense. So many times when you're on defense, you can get yourself all worked up because you're so worried about, is the ball going to come to me? And instead, players need to just watch what's going on, and they did a great job of that.
22-22. A high toss, a big swing. Outside, Buddy, roll shot. Back set. Off the touch, point Moeller. They're up 23-22. Thomas Metzger. Does he have 2 more? In that howitzer of an arm to get his team to a 2-1 advantage in this one. Good dig by Barnes, outside, off the touch. It's out, no touch. Wong dove, covered the line, but the ball was just wide, and a timeout taken by Thomas Worthington. Now trailing 24-22.
So the conversations right now is the Cardinals are talking about the ball's got to go to Pitts, okay, on the right side. So, but Moeller's also talking about that. We've just stopped Buddy a few times.
Right.
Guess what? The ball's going to go to Pitts. Also reminding Moeller is that the setter on Thomas Worthington, Ando, is back row. He went up and he faked an attack. Did you see that in that last one?
Yeah.
And they bid on it, but he's back row. He's not allowed to jump in front of that 10-foot line to attack the ball. He's just trying to pull one on you.
Court awareness, situational awareness, so important. These kids are incredible athletes. They can jump out of the gym. They hit the ball like rockets, but knowing exactly what that situation is and whether that's a decoy or a real threat, all of that's really important.
And they've got to remind each other. There's got to be constant conversation about what's going on the other side of the net, along with what our goals on our side are.
So Moeller has set point here. 24-22. The toss is high. The swing is off the tape. Good reception. Back set. Off the touch. Here come the Crusaders. A bump. Elvis blocked to the outside. into the block and down. That's a point for the Crusaders, and they take set number 3, 25-22, and they lead this match 2-1, 25-14, 23-25, 25-22. Holy mackerel, have we had a dandy, and it ain't over yet. Stay right there. Set number 4 coming up next from Pam Evans Smith Arena on Championship Weekend on the NFHS Network.
Yes!
Yes!
It's a big money bet right there.
I want big money. Can I bet too?
Well, sweetie, betting is gambling, and there are big risks when money's involved.
Risks?
Yes, sweetie. That's why it's only for adults. Let's watch.
Youth who gamble are 4 times more likely to experience a gambling disorder as an adult. Be aware. Check for risks. Guide their choices. Help prevent youth gambling. Visit ChangeTheGameOhio.org.
Ready?
It doesn't matter if you're playing hard or working hard. Your workout only works out if you recover right.
Recover.
Chocolate milk helps you recover for what comes next. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles.
Ready? Recover. Repeat. Chocolate milk, the official beverage of high school sports, is brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast.
Moeller took sets 1 and 3. Thomas Worthington took set 2. And now we are all set for the 4th set. Best out of 5 in this second semifinal championship game. The winner will move on to play tomorrow at 1 o'clock against the Hudson Explorers, who knocked off Olentangy Berlin's Bears earlier today, 3-0. She's Jackie Klein. I'm Chris Solwecki. And Jackie, you and I were talking off air, and we talked a little bit in the last match, but the shift or the movement that is happening among volleyball clubs in the state of Ohio and beyond, where it's no longer gender specific, right? I mean, you have boys clubs, you have girls clubs, all operating under the same roof, getting the same coaching from the same brilliant minds like yourself.
Right, and we're even seeing it at club volleyball tournaments. There's a lot of tournaments that have both boys and girls playing under the same roof. And it really does make this game fun. If you look internationally, volleyball players are the LeBron Jameses of their countries, you know. But here in America, we've got American football taking over that. We've got MLB baseball. We've got the NBA. You know, those leagues don't really exist in other countries. So I'm really glad that the sport of volleyball in the men's category is starting to take a better foothold here in America.
There's an ace by Moeller. They're quickly up 2-0. Yeah, you mentioned some of those sports, and you know, I grew up being a men's volleyball player, but I also enjoyed playing and watching baseball, and now you've got even lacrosse that's competing with that in the springtime. And so all those options leave you with sometimes a challenge to get the right athletes in the right places, doing the very best that they can, because they're all playing seasons at the same time.
You're right, yeah.
Can he get there? He cannot. What a great effort by Drew Barnes, but he comes up just short. 3-0, Moeller on top. The Crusaders look like they came out of a huddle with an intentionality to finish this one right now.
We've been seeing this constant point spread of 4 points of whatever team is in the lead. And so we can see that right now this is a 3-point spread, but Moeller definitely wants to try to get ahead early.
Good dig in the back. Free ball across. Here comes Moeller on the attack. Outside, big swing into the block. What a block, goodness gracious. Jacob Pitts.
1-on-1. That is just talking about his height and physicality. You can see he's a pretty strong guy. So going up and pressing over the net, he is really creating a hard option for the outside hitters.
Too strong down the middle, so that point goes to the Cardinals, and they are only down 1 now, 3-2, as Drew Barnes heads back to the serving line. This will be his second serve in a row. With the toss and the skip, gentle floater. They try to keep it alive. They do get a free ball across, and we're going to have a double contact, I believe. Yes, indeed, double contact on Moeller, so it's 3-3 now. The Cardinals with the ball.
So we're seeing kind of the beach volleyball rules coming into play for indoor. If you decide to send the ball over the net on a third contact as a set and it has any kind of spin on it, they're probably going to call a double on it. So it's better to send it over with your forearms or a one-arm attack.
Adam Quell with a big kill there, gets the point and the ball back to the Moeller Crusaders. 4-3, Moeller on top. And now it's Thomas Metzger serving for the Crusaders. Big swing. Outside. Trying to keep it alive. That's a tough one, unable to do it. So the point will go to Kurt Buddy ultimately. Good effort by the Crusaders to dig it up, but they couldn't quite get elevation.
So in chaos, it's important to get the ball high, okay? You don't want to just play like ping pong or pinball or whatever with it. You want it to go up to give your team time to make decisions.
Off the block and down, Elvis with a big point. Yeah, that's something people don't necessarily think about or notice, but the higher the ball goes, and now we've got a change of call here on the floor. It's going to go to the Cardinals instead, and one of the Crusaders was over having a quick conversation with the floor official.
So Elvis was in the net. So as he was coming down and trying to save himself from touching the net, he touched it, and the down official called it.
Tossed across and in the perfect spot. Gets past Drew Barnes, gets to the left of Yamparanis, and as a result, the point comes to Moeller, and we are tied at 5. Tyler Wong to the serving line. Good reception in the back. Outside, Buddy. Down the line, point for the Cardinals.
So that's an uncharacteristic shot for him. He's usually hitting cross court, and so I think Moeller's kind of giving him the line. So now he has shown that he's able to do that, and now they have to make decisions on their defense.
Dollard wasn't ready exactly for that one. That serve goes into the net, so comes right back to the Crusaders, tied at 6. Should the Crusaders win this set, they will advance to tomorrow's state championship match. Should the Cardinals advance through this set, there will be a decisive set number 5. That serve goes long and out. Thomas Worthington leads it 7-6.
If we do go to a 5th set, it's only to 15 points.
Correct.
So that is a real quick, it only takes about 10 minutes to get through it. But that's something where whoever gets to that set has got to win early and quick.
Well, and that's where those 5-point games are so important, because you're playing at that point, you're playing for 5 at a time, right?
You're right, yep.
Another point for the Crusaders. A dink that got into no man's land.
the Crusaders are scoring more on off-speed shots right now than they are on hard-driven balls. And so that's kind of showing a weakness over on Thomas Worthington's side. So the corners seem to be open, and that campfire area in the middle of the court, if they start collapsing on that because that's what they're seeing a lot, then the hard-driven attack becomes available.
Elvis Arve with the serve. Here come the Cardinals on the attack. Long time in the air that time. Nice hang time. Free ball across. Wong comes up with it. Back set. Slide play. Good dig. Near side. Ando tosses it across. Trying to keep it alive. They do. Back corner. Locker. Ando to Johnson off the block and down.
That is a hard ball to set. Coming off the net like that. He wasn't even facing Micah Johnson on that one. He decided to do a side set and just chucked it up for him to make choices on, and his hang time allowed him to do that.
Now Ando at the serving line. Serves Wong. Close one at the net. Up. Dinked across into no man's land. Good court awareness. They saw the empty spot and took advantage of it.
So one thing that Thomas Worthington did earlier in this match that changed everything was they started to control the tempo of the game. They started to rotate faster, get back to serve faster. Instead of walking, they started running, and I think they need to start doing that again because that caught Moeller off guard.
Leo Tierney with the serve. Ando to the outside. Johnson into the block. Kept alive. Ando again. Right back to Johnson. Down the line. Good dig. Back row for Elvis. And unable to play it. Reaching out was Jacob Pitts, just trying to get the ball elevated, but he didn't elevate it high enough, and nobody else knew what to do.
And once again, it's that off-speed shot, right? Mm-hmm. Why would they stop doing it if you're having trouble digging it? So I guess that's got to be where the Cardinals, maybe next time out, they're really talking through off-speed situations.
There's Drew Barnes on the reception. Barnes committed to playing at Baldwin Wallace next season. 9-9. Back and forth. Nobody has seized control. We've got a ball in the middle of the floor. We've got to get rid of, there we go, getting rid of that. Keep everybody safe. Now serving for Thomas Worthington, number 15, Matt Locker. Locker, a couple of aces today. Back row to Elvis. Off the touch, kept alive, still alive. Can't save it that time, though. Great effort by Pitts.
We've seen a lot of those balls just shoot over, and it's pretty impressive that these guys are aware. I just heard one of the Cardinals yelling off, on, and that's a big thing we teach inside of practice gyms. Is the pass off? Is it on? Is it over? Over is a big thing that you have to pay attention to.
Ando with a good bump. Buddy from deep. Too strong. That whole play was a little out of system. The first pass wasn't great. Ando did what he could.
And on those out-of-system balls, Buddy seems to get too far under the ball. He just can't see what's going on in front of him, so it's hard for him to make decisions.
Good up, outside. That time Buddy knew what to do with it and got it done.
Much better spacing. He had that ball, at least 2 feet in front of him, so he could see blockers in front of him and also open court.
Barnes floats it into the net.
Now, I think Barnes was trying to take over that tempo. You know how I just mentioned that they needed to start running back to serve? He did that. Unfortunately, he missed his serve, probably because he rushed himself. But that is really what they need to start doing.
Jumper. Barnes comes up with it. Back set. Pitts goes high. Wong with the back set. Elvis. Back set. Off the touch and down. Point for Moeller, and now they're starting to pull away. Only 3, but 3 at this stage of the match is huge.
I am really impressed with Moeller's defense. They're doing a good job of just keeping the ball off the floor, keeping it high middle, allowing Dollard to make good decisions as a setter.
Out of bounds on that serve. Too strong, too wide. Moeller by 2, 13-11. Thomas Worthington to the serving line. And off the bench to do the honors is number 9, Oliver Marker. Marker has 1 ace, 6 digs today as a back row player. Good serve. Wong comes up with it. Right in the middle. Barnes leaned right when he needed to lean left.
Adam Quell, he came into this set hitting 400.
Yeah.
Okay, that is awesome. And not only is he hitting 400, but Drew Ewers came in at 381 to this set, and Connor Smith coming in at 375. That's unheard of. Having 3 hitters hitting 300, that's a pretty good day at the volleyball arena.
Well, and now we're, with 14-12 in this set, and the updated stats have Quell at 400, Ewers at 440, and Smith right at 300. So those 3 guys are still in there, and Nick Dollard is at 286.
Yeah, that's really good numbers. That means they're playing real clean and scoring points off of it.
Into the block and down. Good job for Thomas Worthington being at the net. And right there that time was Aleko Yamparanis.
Moeller leads 14-13 in the
14-13. Moeller with the lead. Kurt Buddy to serve for the Cardinals. Into the block and down. Point for the Cardinals, and we're tied at 14. Actually, they call it 4 hits.
Yeah, just a weird error. We haven't seen much of those errors coming from Moeller, but there is some conditioning that's now coming to play. These guys are getting tired, okay? So they have to really dial in. But
they called a violation on Moeller.
Yeah. So what they're calling here is that Nick Dollard was attacking the ball above the height of the net as a back row setter. So that means he touched the ball, it went over the net, and so that's a back row attack. On the setter, yeah.
So Thomas Worthington leads at 15-14. Buddy to serve. Tight to the net, outside, Elvis into that campfire area for the point.
Yeah, that off-speed shot's there all day. It's an easy run through, but when you're a defender and you dig your heels in, it's so hard to get your motor running again when you have to go run those down. So it's important as a defender that you're almost leaning forward to attack the attacker, despite whether he's going to tip or swing.
Carson Narup serves right into the net, so an unforced error for Moeller gives the score, the point, back to Thomas Worthington. They lead 16-15. And now it'll be Adam Chapman to the serving line. We haven't called Chapman's name very much today, but he's there to serve now. Serves Wong, set to the outside. Elvis off the touch. Kept alive and in play. On the attack, Elvis again. Off the touch and down.
Elvis's decision making is very good. So we've seen him tip, we've seen him roll shot, we've seen him tool the block. So he works on these toolbox things every day at practice, and that gives him those crucial skills that are needed today.
He's at the serving line now with the match tied, 16 apiece. Overpass on their dig. Great set, or great serve, I should say. Outside, Ando. Swing by Yamparanis right into the block and down. The point goes to Moeller. They're up 17-16.
The Crusaders lead the Cardinals 17-16.
Elvis Arve back to the serving line. Yamparanis off the touch. On the attack, back row, Elvis. Down in front of and to the right of Thomas Worthington's libero, Drew Barnes.
And not only did he get that kill, but he dug that ball for himself. So he is just on fire for Moeller right now.
18-16, a timeout taken on the floor. Set number 4, Moeller has the lead in this one. They're also up 2-1. So if they can close the deal, they will play tomorrow against Hudson for a state championship. Thomas Worthington has to work their way back to get to 25 first, and they trail by 2 at the moment.
Row, or getting someone from the back row involved. So that gets blockers having to look at, talk about, and prepare for multiple dimensions of attacks coming at them.
We talked earlier about those players from Moeller and the kills that they have had. For Thomas Worthington, you've got Kurt Buddy hitting .316, and then Danny Sechrist is hitting 200. Nobody else is hitting above 200. In fact, only 2 other players are hitting above 100 for Thomas Worthington. So they're doing it very differently than Moeller is doing it. And yet here we are in set number 4, and they're only down 1 point. And now there's another block. Micah Johnson in the middle.
With Pitts, who reached in with one arm on that one. Like, that is confidence right there. I don't even need my other arm.
Yeah. Oh, Mike is going to do the heavy lifting. I'm just going to add a third arm. The serve, Elvis runs it down. Wong's going to send a free one across. Dunk down in front of Wong. Ando.
So you were talking about stats and hitting stats for Thomas Worthington, and Pitts is somebody we cannot forget about, okay? He was so crucial in sets 2, sets 1 when they were coming back. So I expect him to receive a lot of balls here towards the end of this set.
Dumped across. Can they keep it alive? They cannot. So the point goes to Moeller. There's some jawing back and forth between Wong and Ando a moment ago, and right there as Moeller circled up to give hugs, they put Wong in between all of them just to make sure nothing else happened. Come here, big fella.
These guys are fierce competitors. The important thing is to make sure that you're keeping it positive and not...
Connor Smith serves into the net. The ball comes right back to Thomas Worthington, who leads it now 20-19. High drama in Pam Evans Smith Arena. Here's Matt Locker to serve. High toss, big swing. Off the touch. Barnes, Ando to the outside. Johnson with the dunk, and it goes down. So Micah, the 5'11" Kentucky State product, was able to dunk that one home and give his team a 2-point advantage, 21-19, and a timeout taken on the floor.
And I fully expected this timeout. Okay, Moeller's got to talk about this, but look at our demeanor going back to the timeout. How do we handle that? Right now I see a lot of walking, maybe some sad faces. There's nothing to lose right now over for Moeller, okay? So they go to a 5th set, okay, if they lose this. But if the Cardinals lose this, it's done.
Right.
So what needs to happen coming out of this timeout is Moeller's got to be coming out fired up, got each other's back, having a good culture, and a lot of communication. But you know these Cardinals are going to come out, and like we talked about them being fierce competitors, they're going to bring it. They're going to bring it vocally, they're going to bring it physically, and they're definitely going to bring it from a blocking perspective.
Not questioning his skills, but at this moment, do those players look in the circle and not see Coach Pieper? They see Coach Eckhoff instead. Does it play anything with their psyche at this moment?
It could, yes. But you know what? As a player, I leaned on my teammates more than I did my coach. You know, and so that's where they need to look to. I need that bond with that 1 or 2 guys on my team that I need right now, and that's where you make eye contact and you move forward.
Matt Locker with the serve. Here's Moeller on the attack. Into the block, kept alive. There's a block by Micah Johnson, but still alive. Bumped by Wong. Very tight to the antenna. He can't get it around. A great effort made by number 17, Thomas Metzger. but he was in an impossible situation. Locker again. Serves Wong. Wong comes up with it. Into the block, keeping it alive. Johnson keeps it alive. Big swing and the point to Moeller. Did Thomas Worthington quit too early?
Well, Adam Quell has been somebody who's been really reliable for Moeller, and Thomas Worthington knows it, so they've been camping out on him. So it has to feel good for him to be able to put that ball to the floor, even if it was an overpass.
Nick Dollard to the serving line. Moeller trails by 2, 22-20. The toss. Outside. Point Moeller. 22-21.
That's a major block that Moeller needed. You're starting to see these guys, you can see the fatigue on their faces, and they stopped talking to each other as much. Why? Because they have to breathe, but at the same time, there has to be some really positive body language here moving forward.
Kurt Buddy! Great set by Ando, and Buddy did the rest. 23-21, Barnes. Into the block, trying to keep it alive. Lots of action at the net. Can they? Nope, not that time. Frustration on the face of Aleko Yamparanis. Moeller gets the point, they get the serve, they still trail by 1, 23-22. Thomas Metzger to serve for the Crusaders. High toss. Outside, Buddy. Off the touch and down. Set point for the Cardinals.
There's still a timeout available. I would personally be taking it, but you've got to also lean on your guys. You know, if that's going to cut into their momentum, maybe it's better to just move forward.
In the middle, Barnes comes up with it. Ando with the up. Buddy into the net. And it comes back to Moeller, who trails 24-23. Tyler Wong to the serving line. Timeout taken by Thomas Worthington. 24-23. It doesn't get any tighter, doesn't get any more exciting than this right here, folks. If Worthington can shut this down, there will be a fifth and decisive set. If Moeller can come back, they play tomorrow against Hudson.
So as a coach, you kind of have this magic where you can either get your adrenaline up on your guys or you can calm them, right? And so this is one where if I'm Moeller, I'm getting adrenaline up. The average volleyball play is 8 seconds long.
Yeah.
So looking at your guys and going, do 8 seconds of work and then you can breathe. 8 seconds of work and then you can breathe, you know, and rallying the troops to bring that game into the center of the court is just going to help them excel.
8 seconds of work. It's the equivalent of riding a bull in a rodeo, right? You get 8 seconds.
Yeah,
That's the goal.
I'm sure there's a lot of adrenaline that goes with that.
Yeah, no doubt. I have no doubt. Says the guy who's never ridden a bull for any time. Out of the timeout, 24-23. Moeller trails. Tyler Wong at the serving line. The toss. Outside. Buddy gets the point. And we're going to a fifth and decisive set as Thomas Worthington takes this one 25-23. Sets 1 and 3 went to Archbishop Moeller, 25-14, 25-22. Thomas Worthington took numbers 2 and 4, 25-23, 25-23. Set number 5 after this timeout. Go nowhere. More action coming on Championship Weekend on the NFHS Network.
Yes!
Yes!
It's a big money bet right there.
I want big money. Can I bet too?
Well, sweetie, betting is gambling, and there are big risks when money's involved.
Risks?
Yes, sweetie. That's why it's only for adults. Let's watch.
Youth who gamble are 4 times more likely to experience a gambling disorder as an adult. Be aware. Check for risks. Guide their choices. Help prevent youth gambling. Visit changethegameohio.org.
Set number 5 in front of us from Pam Evans Smith Arena. 1 and 3 went to Moeller. 2 and 4 went to Thomas Worthington. Now you don't play to 25, you play to 15. And that brings us to what we talked about a couple times already, which is those 5-point games that are so important. It's a whole different mindset when you're playing to 15 points, win by 2 rather than 25.
So it used to be that teams would switch sides at 8 points. Since COVID, they have decided that teams will just stay on whatever side that they are on unless there is some really glaring reason why they have a disadvantage. So instead of getting to 8, the goal is to get to 5 first, then 10, then 15.
Moeller had the serve first. Big swing. That goes way long. No touch. And the point goes to Moeller. They're up 1-0.
So that's an interesting set. We haven't seen very many back row attacks coming from Thomas Worthington, but if you're going to try it, you might as well try it at the first point, see if you feel like it's going to be something to add into the offense.
Set to the outside. Buddy off the touch, trying to keep it alive. They do. Set to the backside. And it's out. It went off the face of Buddy, I believe, and out of bounds, so 2-0. Moeller on top.
Point Moeller.
And immediately coming over is Drew Barnes to have a conversation with the official. Whatever he asked, he got a satisfactory explanation.
I'm not sure what he was asking about, but I couldn't see the play very well from where I'm standing.
Down the line, what great placement. Elvis Arve went after it, but a really good spot for Jacob Pitts to come up with that point. 2-1 Moeller, but now the serve is in the hands of Thomas Worthington and Drew Barnes. Back set. Close one. That's really tough. Ando is always very good with his sets, but that one, I don't know, got the elevation he wanted it to have.
The ball was traveling pretty tight, and boy, he shot that like a rocket. So I don't know if they had talked about running it faster than they already are, but that was too fast.
Metzger continues to serve from the back row. He digs that one off his chest. Arve across, down, off the block by Pitts.
So observing that set that Ando just sent to Buddy, it is faster than what they were doing in future or past sets. So I do think they are going to try to get that ball to the outside pin a little bit quicker, but there is a little bit more room for error for that. There's a little bit more of a connection that's needed.
3-2, Moeller with the lead. Floating serve. That one's kept alive with the right arm to the outside. Buddy takes something off of it. Right into the campfire zone. Point goes to Moeller. They're up 4-2.
This is if you can do it, I can do it better kind of game. So if you're going to tip to the corner, I'm going to tip to the corner. So those off-speed shots are working, though, still for Moeller against Thomas Worthington. They can run those down, though. They're going to pick up more balls.
Buddy off the set from Ando. 4-3, Moeller leads.
Buddy will serve for Thomas Worthington.
Kurt Buddy continues to serve for the Cardinals. Too long. 5-3, Moeller, so they get the first game to 5. Now Micah Johnson to the serving line. Johnson with a high toss. Outside. From the back row. Finding the back corner, perfectly placed.
That's the spot. We haven't said his name very often when it comes to attacking. He's doing great things from the back row in the serving perspective, but that's the first time that we've seen a back row attack from him, and he did a very good job of hitting corners. That is something that we talk about a lot in practice gyms, is back row attacks have to be hit to a corner.
Well, and it looked like the Cardinals' initial reaction was he was in front of that 10-foot line. He can't be attacking from the back row. That's not what he does. And yet, that's what he did right there.
You're right.
6-4, Moeller with the lead. The serve comes over to Thomas Worthington. Anav Samrat.
And this is where we saw the switcheroo last time. Remember, Samrat became the setter and Ando stayed front row. Let's see what they do here.
Too long, and the point goes to Thomas Worthington, 6-5. Samrat. Tight to the net, sent across on the 2. Samrat with the set to the outside. Cross court, Wong comes up with a dig. Elvis, blocked. Point Cardinals, and we are tied at 6.
Yeah, and Elvis is frustrated with himself, mostly because he barely hit that over the height of the net, and so that's just an easy ball to block.
Yeah. Samrat again. Back set, Elvis off the slide, picked up. Second ball, Ando out of bounds, and he smacks himself in the forehead.
Yeah, so that's just, he hasn't tried that all game, and so that's kind of like, you haven't warmed up in that, so that's a bad choice. But being left-handed, he was trying to take advantage of that. He wished that pass was a little bit closer to the net, though, and he probably would have nailed it.
7-6, Moeller with the lead. Elvis with the serve. Outside, down the line and out.
So the official called it out. The Moeller squad is saying it was
in.
They got the point. What were they
I don't know what they're complaining
about. I don't know what they're complaining about either.
8-6. Outside. Oh my God! Out again.
Holy moly! That is straight down and close, and it is so far from us. There's no way for us to know. I do wish we had like the video feedback like in tennis where you can see where the ball squish. You know, that would be really cool.
That's 2 in a row from Aleko. That's a touch and down. Point come to the Cardinals. Yamparanis missed a couple, but that time the point goes to Thomas Worthington. They trail by 2, 9-7. And Ando back to serve for the Cardinals. Once things get square between Drew Barnes and the ladder official. Middle back serve up high. Barnes back set. Into the net. Yamparanis.
Clearly frustrated with himself, okay? But he has not made those kind of errors until right now. He's got to move forward, and then I think Micah's got to be the guy they go to right here on the outside pin. That's the one that's been scoring for them in this rotation.
Floater to the back. Ando to the outside. Johnson, little touch across the net. Back row, Elvis into the block. They try to keep it alive, can't do it. Good job with the block by Pitts there.
This is not the time to play timid volleyball. Yes, you want to keep the ball in bounds, but you've got to trust your training. So in practices, we train hitting the ball hard and in bounds. So that's really where the Cardinals need to lean if they're going to come back into this.
Here's Matt Locker. High toss, big swing off the tape. The point to Moeller, side out to Moeller. They won the second race to 5. It's 11-8, Moeller. 4 points to a date with the state championship match. Here's Nick Dullard. Outside, off the touch. Elvis, back set. Too long, no touch. The point to the Cardinals.
So we're starting to see some more adrenaline coming out. Guys are begging for things that aren't there, such as they wanted a touch there, but it's not. They've got to dial back in and make sure that they're focusing on fundamentals.
And there's a serve into the net again. Drew Barnes this time. Moeller's lead is back to 3, and they only need 3, and a timeout taken by Thomas Worthington as the coach says, let's talk about these unforced errors.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that those are happening right now, especially from people who are leaders on the team. You know, but this doesn't mean that they're out of it, but they do have to really get the ball back and focus on getting a run from the service line.
Fatigue playing a part of this, you think?
I think so. You know, I coach high school volleyball, and a lot of these guys are just finishing up school. It's been a long school year. They go to school all day. You know, there's not a lot of recovery time. Right. And so when you get into a 5-setter, you really come into these games with your adrenaline high, but that dissipates pretty quickly. And now, again, we're back to you've got to do 8 seconds of work, and then you've got to rest in between. You've got 8 seconds to rest.
So out of the timeout, the serve belongs to Moeller. Thomas Metzger at the serving line. 12-9, Moeller with the advantage. This feels like a absolute needed side out for Thomas Worthington. Outside, and they get that side out. Oh no, it goes too long.
Yeah, they're gonna call that out of bounds. You know, when you watch international men's and they're using line judges, you'll see there'll be a line judge on each line. So there'll actually be 4 of them. The game is so fast. It's so hard to make calls.
That's an ace off the arm of Aleko Yamparanis. And now it is match point for the Moeller Crusaders, leading 14-9. Thomas Metzger looking to send his team to Saturday. Too long.
This is a scary situation. You're giving them a shot here. So they've really got to focus on that first ball contact. If Moeller's going to capture this point right now, all 3 passers need to be dialed in and ready to gently carry this ball.
Oliver Marker with the serve. Quick in the middle. Good dig. Outside. Out of bounds. Touch called. Oh, nope.
Whoa.
Yeah. So the official did the wrong thing with the flag.
Yeah, this is a weird situation. It's a weird call. The officials are actually mic'd up with each other, so the down official and the up official are able to speak to each other via a headset. And they will probably talk this through. And if we had a replay system, it would be fun to see what really happened. But I really don't think that there was a touch. But he is going to award it.
So the official ultimately met with both captains. He explained his ruling, and then he called this one over. Moeller 15, Thomas Worthington 10. The Crusaders of Moeller will head right back here tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and they will face off against the Explorers of Hudson High School. And some fans from the stands came out to celebrate with their volleyball team, and the administration of Moeller said, yeah, let's not turn this into anything it doesn't need to be. So he sent them back The team is heading that way, and they're having a celebration on their end of the floor, and rightly so, as a 5-set thriller is concluded with Archbishop Moeller moving on 25-14, 23-25, 25-22, 23-25, 15-10. What a tremendous effort for Thomas Worthington, whose record concludes today at 23-4. And for the Moeller Fighting Crusaders, their record improves to 21-4, and they have one more to play tomorrow at 1 o'clock against Hudson.
I'm happy for Moeller.
Yeah.
They've gone through some stuff this year. And so to be able to make it to the next level of this state tournament, it's got to feel good for them. Now, Thomas Worthington, they are great volleyball players. They showed up today and fought all the way to the end. I know that there's some, questions at the end about official calls, but at the end of the day, the officials are part of the game.
Right.
And that's just part of how you have to live, and you have to show respect at the end. But bravo to Moeller for playing a pretty clean game, and it'll be excited to see them take on Hudson tomorrow.
Folks, the next two games are supposed to happen at 4 o'clock and at 6 o'clock Eastern time. Well, you probably can tell time and know that we're past 4 o'clock already. So the next one will begin in about 30 minutes. They give at least 30 minutes between. Both teams haven't taken the floor yet. They haven't gotten on the floor. The clock hasn't started. So if you are here to watch all day, you've got the full 30-minute break before the next volleyball match happens, which will be a Division II semifinal. We'll talk to you more about that on the other side. That's it for this one, though. It's going to be Moeller and Hudson in the state championship matchup tomorrow after the Crusaders get past Thomas Worthington in an epic matchup, 3-2. For Bree Stidd, our producer, and for my partner, Jackie Klein, I'm Chris Solwecki. Thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, have a good night, everybody.